So, I'd sent off for my DNA testing kit from a company called MyHeritage. It's about 80 quid. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go, try and find out where the bulk of my DNA genetic material comes from, which part of the world. Interesting thing to know, I guess, especially for someone with an interest in archaeology and history and stuff like that. I posted it on Instagram to see what a few people thought and had some quite interesting responses. For example, a couple of people had Germanic. I think my favourite was Pete Longshanks. He put his money on rural Somalia. I'm not sure that's genuine. His second guess was Native American, so I appreciated it anyway. Some Ali Hone, Middle East, Persia, something like that. I don't think my tan's quite, maybe it's the beard. Yeah, a couple of people said Germanic, Mongolian or Slavic. So, you know, I wasn't that bothered, genuinely. Please be Viking, please be Viking, please be Viking, please be Viking. Obviously, with the Dark Ages Warrior channel that we do and that I do with Jay, we're quite into our Nordic, Scandinavian type stuff. So, was kind of, you know, Viking ancestry would have been nice. Oh, not Roman, not Roman, not Roman. So I was sort of leaning towards that, but I genuinely didn't mind that much because, you know, wherever it was, I could kind of relate to that, find out stuff about their history, and kind of go from there. So basically, you get the kit, you get these little swabs, and you swab that inside of your cheeks, send them off, wait 8 weeks, get your results back. Yes, my heritage results, my DNA, finally. Awesome. For me, I'm fascinated by all cultures, all histories. So, you know, I genuinely wasn't just banking, you know, wasn't just, oh, do a DNA test, I might be a Viking. Please be Viking, please be Viking, please be Viking. For Christmas, my darling wife bought me a fantastic book by a guy called Martin Rutherford called A Brief History of Everyone Who Ever Lived. It's basically an exploration into human history and archaeology from the point of view of a geneticist and looking at DNA findings and things like that. About a week before I got the test, I read a certain chapter in this book. This book basically talks about how everyone of European descent is related to the Emperor Charlemagne, just because of the degrees of ancestry and how far they spread back. So all those celebrities that claim they have famous ancestry, well, yeah, if you go far enough back, you probably are related to someone famous. That kind of takes the edge off the DNA testing a little bit. He also specifically goes into detail about DNA tests and makes a very valid point that whilst you can test where the majority of your DNA is relatable to, so, you know, 30% of your DNA is the same as people who are based in Scandinavian countries, doesn't mean you're a Viking, because you don't know when that 30% came over. Certainly not in the sort of common, you know, tests that you can get online, such as the one I've done. So I read that about a week before getting the test and had to come to terms with the fact that I wouldn't be able to prove I was of Viking ancestry anyway. But some Scandinavian DNA wouldn't have done any harm to that claim. So here we are, folks. Here's the results. 0.9% Papuan, which is apparently Papua New Guinea. 0.9% from Papua New Guinea, Papuan. Where the fuck did that come from? Does explain a few things though. Love, have we got any poison arrow tree frogs? Oh, I need to go for a hunt. Right, I'm off Sainsbury's then. 3.7% Ashkenazi Jewish, which again, my mum had sort of hinted towards. Not Roman. Oh, what if it's Roman? tiny little bearded Roman like Jay. 8.6% Italian. It's not Roman. It's not necessarily Roman. It's not. Might not be Roman. Fucking Roman with his tiny little fucking Roman beard. Fucking Gladius. Oh, fucking bollocks. I have to shave. And this is the big one. 86.8% British and Irish. So obviously now I'm off to join the BNP, build a wall around England, up the Brexit. So, like, the majority of me comes from here. Always has done. No variety. No, like, ancient, historical, genetical background. No, just here. Probably, I mean, it doesn't say this, doesn't expand, but probably bloody Devon. My ancestors haven't moved, ever. Not eat any foreign foods, I'll just have stew, dumplings, and stuff like that. English food and that, fish and chips. I mean, I don't get it. My best mate's half Palestinian. I eat loads of pasta. Love it. I love the stuff. I don't even like shepherd's pie. I ate cups of tea. What the fuck? To be fair, it doesn't stop me being interested in all the things I'm interested in. Look, I've got a real passion for British history anyway, which is, full of cultural and social shifts and changes and invasions and things like that. So, all good. It's certainly not going to make me any less interested in the rest of the world to know that I've always come from Britain. And to me, I kind of follow the same vein of thought as Francis Pryor, who's an archaeologist, done a few programmes out there. I recommend sort of YouTubing or reading the book Britain BC. But his kind of attitude is that at the end of the day, Britain is about accepting and amalgamating different cultural influxes, right back from the Romans onto the Saxons, which was arguably more of a migration than an invasion, and there's no evidence it was an invasion. We just accepted lots of their cultural differences. The Norse and Viking and Dane invasions were a bit more aggressive, but again, a lot of it was about finding a middle ground and adapting. And, with the Normans, whilst their invasion was very forceful and it basically hit the top echelon, it hit the aristocracy more than anyone else. Which brings me on to another point about what my DNA tells me. My nan did her family tree once, and she went right back to, this is my nan on my dad's side, she went right back to the 17th century, and she said the most remarkable thing was that she didn't really find anyone that wasn't a docker or a criminal. So my ancestry, I think, is probably lacking much royal blood. With my DNA results, with such a large proportion coming from Britain and Ireland, it kind of shows a lack of movement, but also a lack of interbreeding with other people from other cultures. Now, most of the early cultural invasions into Britain, as far as I understand it, Roman, Saxon, Viking, and especially Norman, they were targeting the aristocracy, or they became the aristocracy. Saxon kings, lords, the Danes, when they came over, had certain sections of the country they were more prominent in, but the majority of them were, again, kind of in charge of that, or within their own group of people. And the Normans especially pretty much wiped out our aristocracy, but didn't, apparently, from some of the things I've read, didn't change much for the common man, i.e. me. So it makes me wonder if perhaps it just shows me that my ancestry is of a British peasant. or possibly an ancient warrior of Britain, like part of the Iceni tribe with Boudica, that sort of just about managed to survive everything without getting fucked on by the invading aristocracies. Depends how you look at it, I suppose. Sometimes it's just blown away when you have to come to terms with your true historical roots. You know? To be fair, British history has a wealth of stuff that I can get my teeth into. And the best thing is, it's not that far to travel, is it?